Welcome to another video in a special video series I'm doing all about how to wholesale and flip houses during and as a result of the COVID-19 epidemic. Now, a lot of changes are happening and it's important you stay up to speed so that you can adjust and adapt quickly. And I'm fortunate to be friends and network with some of the best minds in the business, so I reached out to a couple of my expert wholesaler buddies and I asked them to share some valuable insights. So get ready to learn some tips to wholesale real estate and some expert advice during coronavirus coming up.
This video is brought to you by FLIPSTER, the nation's #1 real estate software, with tools for finding, funding, and flipping houses. Check it out now at getflipster.com.
If you're new here to this channel, I'm Jerry Norton with FlippingMastery.com, and this channel is all about ways to help you make money wholesaling and flipping real estate so you can live your dream life. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified when new videos are released. This is the 5th video in this special video series, and just so you know, I created a playlist called Coronavirus and Real Estate 2020, where I'll put all of these videos for you. Now, the link to that playlist is in the description box below. If you've been following this series, you know that there is a lot of uncertainty in the real estate market. It's still too early to know the real impact on value, but if you're an active wholesaler or an aspiring wholesaler, right now your primary objective is not to understand the impact on real estate, but rather to understand the perception of your cash buyers. Now, what do they think about the market? How are they adjusting their buy criteria? Like I said in earlier videos in this series, I'm seeing two extreme polar opposite mindsets about real estate right now. There is the end of the world mindset, which believes real estate values are going to tank, or at best, they're thinking it's too risky and uncertain to buy right now. This camp is pulling back. They're canceling contracts. They're going to sit the sidelines holding a Costco-sized pack of toilet paper and wait and watch. The other mindset is the complete opposite. They want to buy now and buy aggressively. To these cash buyers, they think the iron is hot and they want to strike. They are actively buying. Some of them aren't even seasoned real estate investors. They've just lost their confidence in the dollar or in the stock market, and they want to put their money in a tangible asset such as real estate. Now, we're seeing a new class of cash buyer enter the market, and if you're not ready, you'll miss them completely. If you are ready, you can take your wholesaling business to a whole new level right now. More on that in a minute, so keep watching. I think you know where I stand. Go big or go home is my game plan. Adjust, adapt, and then crush it is how me and many other successful wholesalers are looking at this huge dilemma with COVID right now. Now, if that's you and you're up for it, then this video is for you. In a minute, two of my friends that are pro wholesalers that I respect tremendously are going to weigh in and share some game-changing tips on this video. I've never done this before, but I asked them to make a short video and quickly share what they feel is extremely valuable for you as an active or aspiring wholesaler. Now, first we're going to hear from Jamil, who has 2 tips to share. Let's listen to his first tip and then we're going to cut back because I want to expand on what he shares. Take a listen.
Jerry, thank you so much for inviting me to have a conversation with your audience. My name is Jamil Damji. I am the president and co-founder of a company called Keegley. We are a nationwide wholesaler doing anywhere between 65 to 100 transactions a month. Now, why am I here to talk to you today, guys? It's about dispositions. Dispositions is actually selling your wholesale deal. Now, I've got 2 tips for you guys to take into this crisis, the COVID crisis, which is really turning everything over on its head. You can find ways to capitalize on that. And the first being understanding that wholesale real estate allows you a vehicle to protect capital. Now, when we purchase properties at 60, 70 cents on the dollar, what we're doing is actually putting our dollar into a situation where it's worth more the day we close. If you can protect capital for your buyers, meaning that if they can buy a house right now for $1 and it be worth that dollar in a year, you'll become a popular guy.
Now, this was probably one of the most profound things you could learn. I hope you grasp what he just shared. Now, I had to listen to it twice. He's talking about here how real estate is no longer just about cash flow or appreciation or a tax shelter. Because of coronavirus, big money is looking to protect their capital. So think about it. It's pre-coronavirus. You have a lot of money in the stock market. Then Trump announces no flights to Europe, and the next day the stock market tanks, and you lose a half or a third of your wealth. Just like that, literally overnight, all because of the flu. And since it came from China, at my house, we call it the Kung flu. If you got crushed in the stock market, now your number one priority is to preserve your capital to minimize future losses. If that happened to you, what would you do? Some are pulling out and buying bonds, but a lot are looking to real estate. They want to buy real estate, ideally a little below value, to protect their capital. This is what Jamil means when he says, and I quote, "Wholesaling real estate is a vehicle to protect capital." Jamil is encouraging you to change the way you think as a wholesaler. If you get a contract on a property at 60 or 70% of its value before fixed up, or let's say 80 to 90% of its value after it's fixed up, you just created an extremely valuable asset that can be sold for a handsome profit. That, my friend, is the wholesaling world we live in right now. Now let's cut back to Jamil where he shares his second tip.
Now, what type of buyers should you be going after? That'll be the second tip that I have for you, is building a better buyer avatar. These people are high net worth individuals, doctors, lawyers, accountants. Being able to find and harness a different type of buyer in a climate like now will make you a very successful wholesaler. Now, if you want tips on how to build a better buyer avatar, reach out to me on Instagram. You can find me at jdamji, at JDAMJI. I'd love to talk to you about how you can expand your buyers list. I'd love to talk to you more about capital protection. Thanks for listening, guys. Get out there and keep crushing it.
So this actually aligns perfectly with Jamil's first tip. You need to rethink who your ideal cash buyer is in 2020 and post-COVID. If you're new, you need to target high net worth individuals who are going to be looking to protect their capital. Now, if you're an existing active wholesaler, you may need to throw out your old cash buyer list. Tried and true fix and flippers and seasoned landlords may not be your best buyer anymore. Now, I hope that makes sense to you. If you thought these two tips were genius, leave a comment and say, "Jamil, you are a flipping genius." And if you'd like to learn more about how to find and target these high net cash buyers, leave a comment and let me know that as well. Okay, so next I reached out to my buddy Pace Morby. Now, like Jamil, Pace shares two really solid tips. Let's hear tip number one.
Hey guys, Pace Morby here, good friend with Jerry Norton. I am so lucky that he asked me to give you guys a tip for 2020 amidst the coronavirus scare. Guys, I can't do that. I can't just give you one tip. I've got to give you two, mostly because I'm the subject to guy. So, tip number one, squad up. If you are not taking people in your local area and becoming friends with them, even if they're your competition, you should be collaborating and creating a strong nucleus or a strong squad around you. So when you need something, you need a lender, you get something, you get a local answer, not somebody that's all the way in Florida. I see a lot of people talking on Instagram, Facebook, etc. You guys have to have a local squad that helps support what you need. And with us, we do a lot of Zoom calls with our competition, and we say, hey guys, let's do a joint sales meeting. Hey guys, let's do a joint marketing meeting and share best practices. You need to be squadding up with your competition, collaborating with each other, and helping each other accelerate in 2020 and 2021.
Squad up. What a great tip. Now more than ever, you need to leverage the expertise all around you. But let me expand even more on what Pace just shared. The best way to receive is to give. So if you want to leverage those around you, find ways to give value. Now, Pace is a master at this. One of the reasons he is so successful is because he knows everybody in his local market in Phoenix. And I mean everybody. I once had a retaining wall on one of my new construction projects that settled, and it had this huge crack running down the wall. Now, I called Pace, and he had the perfect contractor for me who fixed it. Now, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's real estate in Phoenix, Pace is the go-to. It's the law of reciprocity. Now when Pace calls me for something, I'll bend over backwards to help him. So squad up, get active, give value, and network and learn from those around you. Okay, now the second tip that Pace is going to share is about how to be more creative with acquisitions when you're farming for deals from motivated sellers. And Pace has an uncanny ability to turn no's into yeses, to take deals that most wholesalers would throw in the garbage and pass on, and instead he monetizes them. Pace does this by using creative financing to create a win for him and a win for the seller. I'm specifically talking about subject to financing. Let's cut to tip 2, where Pace actually shares a deal he just put together using sub 2 so that you can see it firsthand.
Now, tip number 2, a lot of what I'm going to go over is going to go over some people's head. I'm not going to let that stop me, so I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things. Whatever confuses you, ask those questions below and I will jump in and answer those questions. Or you can go into my private Facebook group, Creative Finance with Pace Morby. But tip number 2 is getting creative. Where other people can't make money, I have figured out how to utilize that and turn it into a superpower and a strength. So let me give you an example. I've got a good buddy, he's actually in my local squad, a competitor of mine on the wholesale business. His name is Jared. Jared gives me a call on Sunday. He says, I've got a family that needs a lot of help. They are in a tremendous amount of pain and they have no equity, they have no money. And the first thing most wholesalers hear when they say no equity is they say, oh, there's no way for me to make any money. Guys, when I hear no equity, I hear money, 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 and no competition. So guys, you have to get creative with creative financing. Again, go to my private Facebook group and check it out. But here we go. House on 78th in Mesa, Arizona. The pain of this seller specifically is they needed to move closer to family. There's some situations going on. They have to get close to family. They have no equity because they bought it last year and they have no money. They are on a fixed retirement income. So what I did is I bought the house for exactly what they owe, $147 plus $3,000 in cash to help them on their way. What I did is I actually took over their mortgage. I bought the property subject to. Go check out the Facebook group for more information about that. Loan type VA, interest rate 3%, $700 payment is what I took over with $7,000 out of pocket. That's $3,000 to the seller, $2,000 in closing costs, and $2,000 of miscellaneous cleaning up the property. I have already sold that property to another end buyer for $15,000. So they cover my cost to get into the deal. $8,000 goes into my pocket. And I sold it to them for $175, 7% interest with a $1,250 monthly payment. Guys, I'm making $8,000 up front with no money out of my pocket and $525 a month on a deal that nobody else would have done. If you are not squatting up and you are not getting creative in 2020 and 2021, you are going to be left behind. Please follow me on Instagram, Pace Morby, and go to my private Facebook group, Creative Finance with Pace Morby. Jerry, thank you so much.
What an awesome tip and what a sick deal. It's like combining wholesale checks with cash flow checks. Now, if you think that was a pretty cool deal Pace just did, leave a comment and say, Pace, you are a flipping genius. Now, let me expand another reason why creative financing strategies like Subject 2 are going to be more important than ever to learn and implement. Because of coronavirus, non-traditional or non-conventional financing is tightening up. I'm talking hard money and private money. Many asset-based lenders closed their doors and others are still lending but with stricter criteria. I'll be doing more videos on this topic, so be sure to follow this video series. But what that means is you need to have other additional ways to control real estate like Pace just showed with Subject 2. Now, I have an entire playlist of videos all about different creative financing strategies. I'll put a link to that playlist in the description below and you can check it out later. And if you'd like to see even more videos on this topic, leave a comment and let me know that as well. Thank you, Jamil and Pace. You guys rock, two of the best in the industry. Be sure to send them a quick DM on Instagram and tell them you appreciate their tips. All right, stay tuned. I'm working on additional videos in this special video series all about how to adjust and adapt to the coronavirus real estate market and how you can not just survive, but thrive. And if you learned something new on this video, hit that like button. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to my channel with hundreds of videos here on the channel and new videos released every week. This is the #1 channel on YouTube for all things wholesaling and flipping. Remember, the most successful investors adapt quickly to market changes. Make sure that's you, and I'll see you on the next video.